Going live. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm going to take just a minute or two to get things set up. If you're watching this on a replay, make sure you tell me in the comments that you're watching it on replay. I love to hear from you. Get comments. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I had to mute myself. Okay. Hi. Julie, Bev, Julie. Thank you. I had time today to straighten my hair. Looks a little different than normal. Look at it's so long. Tammy, Lisa, Tammy, Terry. Oh, awesome. Holly, missed you. I missed you too. Working on finishing shawlography, finally starting clue 4. Had issues with brioche. So did you end up doing the brioche, Julie? Holly? I know Julie was working on it last night when I was talking to her, and she's not doing the brioche. She's doing the lace instead, which is totally fine. No judgment at all. Mary started the Alaska hat. Yeah, so as you're popping on, tell me what you're working on. Tell me how your holiday was. Lisa working on the pullover sweater from Knit Camp. Vicky, Cindy. Oh, I did miss you guys. I can't believe it's been 3 weeks since I've done one of these. It feels like longer than that and not at the same time. There's been a lot going on, obviously, Christmas, New Year's. I hope everybody had a great New Year's. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. It is 7:01. Welcome to Monday Motivation. My name is Kristen. I am the owner of the Little Yarn Shoppe in downtown Saginaw, Michigan. Today is Monday, January 3rd, 2022. Happy New Year. We survived. I go live. I'm back to my normal scheduling. So every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on Facebook. And if you catch it on a replay, let me know. If you jump in late, that's okay too. These videos are saved. So once I'm done with the video, it will go back on the Facebook page for you to be able to see later on down the line. Holly, oh, you look, yes, the eyelets. E working on a Weasley sweater. Linda did the lace instead. That's quite all right. Kathy's working on plushies. Yes, I will be here. So hopefully you can get in on Wednesday, Kathy. So wherever you are, if you're not in the Tri-Cities area, tell me what your weather is like. I know Melissa got a lot more snow than we did. We didn't get very much. I was kind of all hyped up for it and then nothing happened. So Barbara, I'm curious to know what your snow situation is like up north. Cheryl. Awesome. Linda. Sunday morning wrap. Okay. So let's talk about knitting. I am wearing the Temperance shawl, partially because this was last year's Malabrigo knit along. It used 3 skeins of sock, Malabrigo sock. These 2 colors, and then Gingy, Jasmine, and then there's a 3rd color Myths that I don't have any more in stock. It would be kind of a paler version of that. So it was in honor of the fact that one of the things I'm working on is the shop sample for the knit along for this year. I think it was January last year and it was supposed to be January this year, but you know, delays like everything else with inventory. My yarns are finally on my way to me for the colors they show in the pattern picture. For that, we'll get into that in a minute. But last year's temperance shawl, I have it wrapped around me, but it's a big 3 skeins, fingering weight yarn, all, I was going to say all garter stitch, but there is some ribbing down at one end. Some lace, but lots of garter, not very much stockinette. So for those of you that don't like purling very much, it's ideal. Barbara, storm coming in tomorrow, 10 to 14 inches. Ah! That's crazy, but I'm sure you guys love it. That's why you're up there doing all the winter things. Hi, Shar. Yeah, Melissa said she needs to find hers and block it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. As people were working on it last year, they freaked out a little bit about the shape it seemed to be. It almost looked like those, like the Georgia O'Keeffe skull paintings where it's like the cow skull with the big horns sticking out. It's like a weird shape until you get off the needles, but trust it, it's okay. So this was last year's. And that's what I'm wearing. What I am working on is this year's sample. So this year, Malabrigo is hosting a knit along. It's not a mystery knit along. The pattern is still out there already available. You can download it for free. You can knit it now if you want. The knit along just requires that you're knitting on it in February, that you're using all three, that all 3 colors of your yarn are Malabrigo Arroyo. So Arroyo is their Fort/DK weight yarn. This is the natural. This year's takes 3 colors. You have 2 skeins of your main color and 1 skein each of your contrast color. I wanted to do something completely different than what the pattern showed. So Melissa just posted a link to it, but here's a little bit of a better view. This one's pretty worn because I'm getting to the end. But it's this beautiful chevron-y wrap. For those of you that have done a lot of the shawls with us lately, one of the benefits of this is your stitch count never changes. So it's not, you're not ending up with all these long rows at the end and then you have a huge bind off. You cast on and it's knit lengthwise. So these colors are beautiful and I will be getting those in. I've gotten 2 confirmation emails from Malabrigo that shipments are on their way to me. So these colors are the, I don't even know. The Prussia Blue, the speckle is a new one for this, just like they did a couple new colors last year. And then a kind of a pinky color. So I decided I was going to go completely differently and go neutrals. So my colors are natural, Plomo, which is like a gray. And then the third color is the same Prussia Blue. So it looks black from a distance. And I love how you can really see how graphic it is. I'm going to stand up so I can show you. Isn't it gorgeous? That section of white in the middle is the halfway point. So I am close and it mirrors itself. So I'm close. I'm in this section right now at the other end. But if you look, this is a beautiful dark blue. It's the same color I used in that topographical scarf, that rainbow scarf that I did. That in certain lights it looks black, but I think this is doing what I wanted it to do, and that's to show you a completely different look than what the pattern picture shows. And you can really see, you can see the texture. You can see my ends haven't been woven in yet. Tammy, 3 colors. I'm looking at everybody's notes. Oh yeah, Melissa said that too. So you need 2 of your main color. So for mine, I used the natural as my main color, Plomo as my first contrast color, and Prussia Blue as my second. And in terms of how much you use, I'm done with my Prussia Blue and I don't have very much left. That's what I have left. So it does make good use of your yarn. And I ran out of my color 1 at just past the halfway point, my first skein of my main color, I guess I should say. So I will have kits available for some of the new colors, but I have in stock now 3 kits with these colors. And I have to say, I did initially, I started this with the gray being my main color. I thought it would go a little bit better with the blue. So your main color goes through the entire thing, except for that little solid section. So you see my natural goes through the whole thing. It's just whether it's striped with color A, color B, my gray, or color C, my blue. But I really like this texture. And I had gotten to that point with my colors flip-flopped and realized that would have been all in white. And I mean, it would have looked okay, but I wanted to see it more. So I ripped back and started over. And I'm glad I did. I really, really like it. So Melissa put some info in the notes or in the comments about the kits. I have 3 kits available in these colors. The kits will be $79.99, whether that's these colors or if you want to see different colors, you can message me or put in the comments and we can touch base later and I can play around with some colors for you. The pattern is called La Mandiola. I don't think I even said that, Nancy. I got myself a new water bottle for Christmas. Same brand as the other one. I love these things. So that's what I'm working on. And I am loving it. It's, although I have to say, I really had all these plans to hunker down, work on this, be done with it by New Year's so I could cast on something new. And that did not happen. Turns out things like inventory and visiting with family and, you know, Christmas, New Year's got in the way of that, but that's okay. Yes, Nancy, you should have a link to it now. It looks like Melissa tagged you in that. There you go. So that's kind of the main thing that I've been working on. I have, while I've been in the shop, I've been working on my Lady Mary's Comfort wrap. That's the one I started. The downside of these really long rows is that my yarn keeps getting tangled because I keep throwing it in things. I don't know if there's really a right side or a wrong side. Yes, there is. So I'm into a little bit of the lace now. So there was some texture, stockinette, seed stitch, now very simple lace. Doing some increases at the corners. It takes 3 skeins of DK weight yarn. I am using Ridiculous Ruby DK is the base. So this is, the color is called Surf Fishing, Alpaca Silk, and Cashmere. This is just going to be luscious when it's done. And the color, I really like how it's knitting up. Sorry, that's so distorted. I was playing around with the ring light and apparently I don't have it quite right yet. There we go. That looks pretty accurate. It's a little bit darker than what it was showing. But I've got a couple colors in this yarn. It takes 3 skeins. Nancy, okay, yep, Melissa's on it. So if you haven't done, back to the knit along for a minute, if you haven't done a knit along with Malabrigo before, I believe the way they do it is every week they draw for winners. As it gets closer, I'll get more specifics about it, but generally what they do is encourage you to post images on Instagram, Ravelry. I don't know if they include Facebook in that or not, with certain hashtags. Then they'll pull names and have drawings for fun things. That's really, if you want to have the most strict guidelines, those are it in terms of participating and being eligible for their prizes. If you just want to knit the shawl, you can knit it now. You can wait. You're welcome to knit along with us throughout the month of February and beyond. There are no rule police. Well, there are a little bit on that one, but it's still going to be a very fun knit along. So those are what I'm working on. I did want to ask if any of you are working on the Stephen West, he calls it the hybrid knit along. This one for him was not a mystery knit along. He just had the option for you to choose between two shawl patterns. One's a semicircle and one's a triangular shawl. Oh, look, Melissa posted all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Share progress on Rav and Instagram during January, February. Oh, this is from last year's. Malabrigo KL on social media. So look at that. She's on things. They probably don't have their info yet for this year because, yeah, they're a little bit behind on that. So the Stephen West, I'm just curious. Julie
Kristen
was nice enough, Julie McVicker, who has donated.
The dates might be wrong, but that what I pasted was all for the 2022.
Okay, try now. Okay, Melissa, what's up?
The dates in that what I posted, that is wrong, but it's copied and pasted from the Malabrigo website for that particular knit along.
Ah, sorry, hang on.
So it looks like they just forgot to change it to say February 2022.
Ah, okay.
But it's all the same detail.
Oh, so we can start in January. Okay. Thank you. I'll have to look into that a little more. Okay, sorry you guys about the feedback. So the hybrid knit along. This is Julie's. She has loaned samples to me before of some of her projects. She had done this prior to the hybrid knit along starting. I don't really, oh, she leaves me little notes. I was gonna say, I don't remember the pattern. Cabled trellis shawl. Whether you chose the semicircle or the triangle, they both required the same amount of yarn. DK or worsted, 3 skeins of your main color, 2 skeins of, well, she used 2 skeins of the contrast color. And if you saw last week, the week before last, I had put some kits together and posted them on the Facebook page. He calls for 3 contrast colors, 1 main color and 3 contrast colors. But we were playing around with this because if you use something like 220 superwash waves, you get this slow color change without having to have 3 different colors that you're switching between. So these are essentially what she used. 3 of the pink, 2 of the gray, instead of having 4 different colors. So look at all these little twisty cables and then all these, it's just beautiful. Jackie's working on hers. It's really easy. Good. I'm glad to hear that. So one fun little thing was, and apparently he says this in the pattern, you're going to use all of, or almost all of your main color. So Julie did what he recommended, which was find a fun pop of color that you have in scrap yarn and use it for that picot bind off. It almost looks like grosgrain when you have like grosgrain on the inside of sweater plackets. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's a neat little pop of color. So I do still have some kits if you wanted to come in and check them out, or if you wanted to go back and look at the Facebook post I did a couple weeks ago. I do still have at least one each of those available. And let's see, what else? Next is what is coming up for me. So I had plans to do all this selfish knitting after the first of the year, which, right, is so unusual. But in all honesty, most of what I do for knitting is shop samples here. I do tend to grab things and wear them, but that's one of the perks of being the shop owner. Then I found out that a really good friend of mine is having a baby, and it's very unexpected and very much a blessing. And this is really the first close friend of mine that I can think of that is having a baby now that I really know how to knit. So I'm having a hard time figuring out what to make because I want to make all the things. But I don't want to take all the time to make all the things. So a couple things that I found so far, and maybe you all have ideas too, but this has been on my radar for the longest time, the Sweet Snuggle Baby Cocoon. Look at how cute that is. Sorry, Melissa, I didn't tell you about these ones. Both of the patterns I picked use either a DK or a worsted weight yarn. I thought that one would be a fun, even if not for her, a fun one to do. Pattern by Lilia Vanini, Lilia Craft Party. But then this friend of mine really, really loves bees and the whole honeycomb theme. So I found this pattern called Baby Honey Blanket by Crafting Designs. And of course, my printer did not print out the main picture. Isn't that lovely? But there's a little mini version. Can you see that? Look at that. Look at all the little honeycombs. So, baby honey. It's so cool. I want to kind of do it in like a honey color or a gold color, but the Melissa, did we talk about them already? I don't remember if we talked about them or not. Okay. So I thought with the honeycombs, I thought it would be good to do it in like a honey color, but in the discussion last week with Karen and a few of the others here, maybe like a honey yellowy color is not that great for babies. So I'm still in debates on what I want to do with that. I just want to make, she is a crafter. She's not a knitter or a crocheter, but she definitely is a crafter. And so whatever I do, she will appreciate and understand what went into it. So if you have ideas of other things, I will happily listen. Send them my way, because I have what seems like a long time, but it's probably like 3 months. So those are the things coming up, even though I really want to just work on things for me. Although in one of the boxes of Malabrigo on their way to me is some more Verano, which is their 100% cotton yarn. I'm starting to think about spring and summer garments. So I may have something in that realm to be casting on to. Melissa's asking what yarn. I am thinking about Malabrigo Rios. I want something that's tonal, but not solid. And I want it to be able to show all the little variations. I don't know that she's on here. She's sometimes Lee logs on and sometimes she doesn't during these, but Lee Blaylock, gosh, probably a year ago or so, sent me a picture of her grandbaby wrapped up in this. It's not quite this dark blue, but this really beautiful baby blanket made out of Rios. And it was just stunning. You get that light and dark. You just get so much more depth of color than you do with just a solid, like whether I used Cascade 220 Superwash or something like that. And I love that Rios is Superwash also. Yeah, Lee says she makes a lot of things in for grandbabies in Rios. With the Cereza B2 red as well so far too. So I'll show you guys the colors I was thinking about. Give me just a second. So the other part of it is they don't know if they're having a boy or a girl. I think they are going to find out. But Frank Ochre might be the in-between that I need, Julie, because I have Sunset, which I think it seems like a good honey color to me, but it's really orange. So there's Sunset. There's Glitter, which I think Glitter kind of goes to greeny yellow. But then I also have Cucumber, which is this, oh gosh, it's not showing up very well, but it's this beautiful pale blue-green. And then Aquamarine, which I've done things before, is on its way to me too. So I don't know. I have a lot of choices. But you guys tell me. Melissa, you don't think that would be too something for a baby? I think it would be cool. But I don't know if that's honey-ish. You guys, this is the problem with having too many options. So I may play around with that a little bit. I maybe will do the baby cocoon out of this, since it's a neutral. I mean, gender neutral. No babies. Yes, Melissa doesn't have babies. So you guys give me your feedback. Let me know. Babies are smarter with bright colors. That's true. I have heard. Give me your input. I'll go back and look and see what everybody says, because I'm curious. Usually my instincts are pretty good on this, but usually I'm also making things that are just for display on the shop and not for a specific person. So I'm second and third guessing myself on this one. All right, so that is all the knitting stuff that's going on. What color is the parent's favorite, or what color is the baby's favorite? That's a good question, Linda. And what I may end up doing is waiting until they register, because they are going to have a shower. So maybe if I wait until they register for things, I can get a better idea of what their theme is. So I don't know. Oh, you guys are, you guys are giving me all over, all different options. I love it. So that is all the knitting I have to talk about. I did want to mention, if you didn't see, Joyce is doing a sock class. She finally has a little bit of a routine down where she can give us a couple more weeks at a time. So she is teaching, which she has taught before. It's toe up, 2 at a time, socks, magic loop with the fish lips kiss heel. That's a lot of stuff, I know. It's her go-to method for a basic toe up 2 at a time sock. There is one spot left. It starts January 13th and it goes for 4 weeks in a row, 4 Thursdays. Holly, yes, I saw you signed up for that. Bev, I've got you signed up for it. I'm so excited. Julie, I don't know who else. I saw a couple other names. We keep it to 6 people. So it's not going to be a huge class. None of our classes are really any bigger than that. I like to keep it comfortable around the table, but also not so busy that you don't feel like you're getting attention. And for those of you that have not had a class from Joyce, she is phenomenal. She's such a good instructor. Malcolm, it is in person. I haven't quite gotten the techie stuff down yet to be able to do a virtual class. I need to be like 3 or 4 more people. Kathy would like that spot. Excellent. I will make sure. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do that. If you can, although you were having problems before, Kathy, but if you can go through the Facebook event and get it online, that's the fastest way to do it. Otherwise, when we're done, I will go in my system and make sure I've got you signed up for it. So it goes 4 weeks, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., January 13th, and then the subsequent Thursdays, 3 Thursdays after that. She teaches it on DK weight yarn with size 2 or 3 needles. So it's a little bit easier to see what's going on. The sock builds a little bit faster. So yeah, I'm excited. And I think she's excited to get back to teaching sock classes. And hopefully we'll be doing more soon. Man, you know, it's been 3 weeks and I feel like all of these things kept creeping up in my mind. Like I should talk about this and I should talk about that. And now I can't think of any of it. That's how it goes though. I hope everybody had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. I promise I will be a little bit more. Lori, is there a wait list and or is there a schedule for the next class? I can talk to Joyce about that and see. I'm sure there's always demand for it. So I will make sure I put you on the wait list, Lori. As I get back into things, I will try to get myself a little more organized. I can't wait. I am going to have some boxes of Malabrigo to open next week. If I can wait. I know one of them is supposed to get delivered tomorrow. So we'll see. It may or may not make it until next week, but I will still, either way, I'll have lots of things to show you. Okay. I hope everybody has a good week. I hope you get some things accomplished, get creative, start some things, finish some things, stay warm and toasty, keep your loved ones warm and toasty and all the things you make. And I will see you all next Monday, if not sooner. All right, everybody, have a good week. Bye.